Okay, so let's everyone be honest here for a hot minute. When someone asks you if you want coffee or tea, the correct answer is yes. Because sure, coffee is coffee. But when you look at how coffee is actually made, you realize something. Coffee is, in fact, just bean tea. Yes, this is actually true. You take the coffee beans, you grind them down, you boil the product of that in hot water, then you filter it out when the hot water has adopted the flavor compounds of the beans. And that is exactly what tea is. It's a flavor infusion. You take a thing and you boil it in hot water, unless you do a cold brew, in which case you put it in cold water for an extended period of time, and then it extracts the flavor compounds, and you drink the results. I know that the scum of humanity that calls itself the tea purists will object to the notion that coffee is actually tea. After all, they do seem convinced that the only thing which actually qualifies as tea is if you have the leaves of Camellia sinensis boiled in hot water. And I suppose by the strictest and most irrelevant definitions that there are, they're not entirely wrong. And maybe it's also true that any tea-like thing made with anything that isn't Camellia sinensis is actually defined as being herbal tea, even if it is a pure fruit infusion, which already should demonstrate to you how stupid and arbitrary that term is. But fuck your elitist nomenclature. Colloquial usage by the linguistic demos has ascribed its own significance to this term, and that is how it shall stay. As a matter of fact, I will put forth to you officially right now that tea made from Camellia sinensis should be the thing that's called herbal tea, because it is a term plus a qualifier. It is the term tea plus the qualifier herbal. It should describe something that is more specific than just the term tea, not something that is less specific than it. Therefore, everything you boil in hot water in order to extract flavor from it is tea. Therefore, coffee is, in fact, bean tea. Do you prepare coffee in exactly the same way that you would other tea? No, of course not. You don't have like coffee bags that you put in the water and they extract the flavor. That's not how it works. I mean, you probably could prepare it that way, much like you can prepare other types of tea with the coffee filter, but coffee being bean tea, every kind of tea has its own best way of being prepared, and that just so happens to be the best way for coffee. Ah, but what about the sugar and the milk that you put in bean tea, some of you might say? What about it? People put sugar in their tea, people put cream and milk in their tea. As a matter of fact, in parts of Russia and Eastern Frisia, that's the correct way of drinking tea. There is no reason to see coffee as anything but bean tea. It has its own methods of preparation, but so does every kind of tea. Doesn't make it less tea. And don't worry, I wouldn't judge you for drinking bean tea. Everyone has their own kind of favorite tea. And I also don't judge you for calling your bean tea coffee, because after all, like most cultivars and types of tea also have their own distinct names. People just have different tastes when it comes to tea, and some people prefer coffee as their favorite kind of tea. I just want you to be aware that when you are drinking coffee, preferably from one of these mugs that you can get at my merch store, you are in fact drinking bean tea. Thank you very much for watching this video. Leave your angry screeds in the comments, and subscribe. This is rather short because I have to do like 2 audiobooks this week. Consider supporting me on Subscribestar or Patreon. There is going to be a big announcement on the day of Wednesday this week. And in that spirit, drink whatever kind of tea you prefer drinking. Obviously, this is all a matter of taste, but coffee is tea. And see you around, cunts.